The National Education Technology Strategy centers on access, quality, equity, innovation, and aligning talent with the digital economy. Co-created by the Ministries of Education and of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, with support from the World Bank and development partners, the plan aims to modernize Nigeria's learning system.
Foundational learning and skills are going to be the future of Nigeria. This is how the country is going to develop over time, by having well-educated kids. And this is also a time when a digital revolution is making possible things that we could have never imagined before. And so bringing these two ministries together, I think, provides us an opportunity to to set Nigeria on a new and powerful path.
At a mid-term co-creation workshop in Abuja, stakeholders reviewed progress from 6 technical working groups covering digital infrastructure, learning ecosystems, and sustainability, and agreed on next steps towards validation and implementation. The need to transform learners from passive recipients to digital thinkers and graduates from job seekers to problem solvers is the focus of a fireside chat with both ministers.
We have to embrace technology in the way we deliver content to our students, in the way we deliver content to our teachers, and in the way we train our teachers as well. And that's why we've come in quickly with our Nigeria Education Sector Renewal Initiative that encompasses all this. And that's why this national education strategy becomes a front and center, a strong pillar of what we're doing with Next Week.
To ensure that no child is left behind, the 4,000 towers that we're deploying, close to 80% of that is in the north central, northeast, and those communities where we have the highest gap of connectivity. So not only do we want to ensure these communities are connected for that purpose, but also that education system, and no child is in any of those areas that are not connected. You can ensure that 20 million people, which there will be a significant portion of them that are young people, have access to meaningful connectivity so they can't lose that.
A major question being raised is how Nigeria's EdTech strategy is tailored to meet the specific needs of rural and underserved communities, as well as learners with disabilities.
If technology is the engine of transformation, then data governance is the fuel that powers it. Without trusted data, we cannot personalize learning, allocate resources, track performance, and ensure equity.
Both ministers also inaugurated a 12-member governing board and technical committee, charging them to drive real reform.
Over 21 states of the federations have entered their data, which was the annual school census report, which the data on the 2025 data has been manually entered. But going forward, from 2026, all our annual school census report will be digitally entered at the school level. The platform has been designed. It's cloud-based now. And this is one of the ways we can quickly cascade improvement of learning outcomes in our country.
Stakeholders insist that digital skills training for teachers and students, along with reliable connectivity and affordable technology, will be critical to improving learning outcomes. Juliet Obata, Arise News.
Thank you, Juliet. Now to discuss Nigeria's first ever National Education Technology Strategy, I'm joined by Dr. Abubakar Isah. He is the NEDI National Coordinator for Ministry of Education and National EdTech Strategy Task Force member. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
I mean, the right things were probably said in that hall. I mean, just listening to the excerpts from Juliet's report. And I'd like to kick off from where the Minister of Communication and Technology spoke about, because when you talk about educational technology strategy, you have to talk about internet access, which remains very expensive for majority of Nigerians. And now you're talking about internet access at all, even for government schools. How feasible is it that this strategy will work where we still have majority not connected to the internet? And of course, there's also not enough power, and the classrooms are not even conducive.
I think it depends on where you're looking at it from. We're not starting from ground zero. We're already somewhere, and what we need to do is to build on it. It's not going to be a death journey. It will take a little while, but we're confident that we are going to do it, and that's why we have to have a strategy and a roadmap to get it done. The ministry is building its own internet exchange point.
Okay.
What that means is that we're going to build our own cloud infrastructure that's going to support all educational ecosystem on that. And once we do that, the MNOs and co we are going to use to have zero-rated access to that. And so it's an amazing plan the minister has come up with that will revolutionize how we have access to educational system. But we're not doing it alone, and that's why the co-creation is a combination of education and communication. Because we know while we are busy with education, we know we need an engine, which is the infrastructure, and that is what the Ministry of Communication is supposed to do. And then we're all sitting together. And I can tell you, more than 70% of our schools are within a region where there is minimally 2G network. And for educational system, even with 2G network, you can have access to
Minimal internet.
minimal internet. You can have access to information. One of the things is that, and that makes it a lot easy to cover the entire area. And you can also hear what the Minister of Communication said. They are building additional 4,000 towers to cover the entire country. But of course, cost of data. But if we create, and that's what we're hoping to do, an educational community, then we can subsidize data, even if it's a CSR from the telecoms or from government or from just our facility, we will be able to provide.
Interesting. So, I mean, what's the timeline for this strategy, and who's to benefit from it in the education system in Nigeria?
Everybody's benefiting from it.
We're talking about secondary, primary schools, university. What does this education strategy cover?
The entire system,
The entire system.
from primary to secondary to tertiary.
Tertiary.
Because,
Okay.
and that's why we also integrated the NGREN. NGREN is Nigerian Education Research Network.
Okay.
And that is supposed to connect, it was built some years back, the entire tertiary institutions together. And they can share information. And if you're a student in the ABU, with your login details and you find yourself in Unila, you should be able to work the same, have access to the same network and to the same resources. And that's being resuscitated. We're hoping that by Q1 next year, we'll have finished the strategy development. And that's why we had this co-creation so that we can have a feedback from our bosses and from the general public. We're going to build a website and have this policy done there so that the general public can have access to it and guide us. It's not done yet, but we don't have the monopoly of wisdom. We hope people will go have us and then tell us, because of course we don't know it all. But
Okay, I mean, that's a great place to go. I have so many questions, and I do apologize because time is never our friend on the news. They say technology is only as effective as the people who use it. So I want to come to the teachers. I mean, the teachers are supposed to be using this to teach the students.
absolutely.
What sort of training are you giving the teachers? Are they even incorporated into the strategy?
Yeah. It's, in fact, they are our major focus. Because while we were trying to make life easier for the student, the major focus is teachers. Technology will never replace teachers. It will only make teachers' job a bit easier. But of course, so the ministry have developed a website for teacher training, and it's open to everybody, but government teachers and teachers in private. By January, that site will be up and running. All you need to do is have a TRCN number, log on, go through your courses online. We have created community of practice, where whatever subject you are teaching, you have a community you can discuss with. So teacher is our major focus. And of course, how do we get devices into the hand of a teacher?
Yes.
How do we get, these are all the conversation going on. How do we get...
And the cost of all of this, I mean, considering that although the budget is increasing for education in Nigeria, it still falls very disappointingly low when you look at budgets across the world, emerging economies for education. Who is funding all of this? Where's that funding coming from? And also, something interesting that was also discussed in the hall today was how to reach out of school children and underserved communities. Are they also going to be left out? If this is about inclusivity, how are you including them?
The focus is not to leave any child behind, just like the Honorable Minister of Communication said. And we're not leaving any child behind. I can tell you, as of today, we mapped out more than 1 million kids. We know where they are, we know which community they come from, we know who their parents are, and we know who the community leaders are. And we didn't only map them, we mapped the schools nearest to them.
Okay.
And all effort is being made to get them back to school. But not only to get them back to school, to track that they are going back to school. And if they are not going to school, why? And we're building, so we're building quite an, and this is all technology driven. It's not manual. I have a system that anytime I looked at, I can say where a kid is, where he was identified, and which school he's likely going to be sent to. And of course, there are some that just don't want to go to school. And what the Emergency Commission is doing is, if you have overage, can we get you to learn a trade? So we don't have to have that fixation of you must go back to school. Can we create a pathway for you for life? And I think that is why the
But first give you the opportunity.
First give you the opportunity. You could find out that somebody is already 12 years old, 13 years old, and he hasn't been to school before. You can't take him back to primary 1 or primary 2. While we have pathways for him, we also think, can we just give him the trade skill? And once he gets that skill, he can live a meaningful life. But of course, you want to teach him literacy and numeracy for him to be able to communicate in the system. So we have a complete system that is being built. Of course, there will be challenges. But
What sort of challenges, very quickly, and my funding question, the funding and what are the challenges you are likely going to engage yourself in this journey?
Federal government is funding a lot. Really, there is enough funds to do this thing.
Challenges?
I think challenges, yeah, resistance.
Okay.
And if, for instance, we're doing it digitally, people are not used to that. I can tell you my minister in his office today has a dashboard that he sees every school in this country.
Interesting.
Yeah, every school in this country. He can
every school, including where children were being abducted?
Yeah, we can. Every school in this country is on that platform. We can drill down. We have a national school register that track, that identify every school in this country. And we're building a system that every kid will have a national learner identity, which we are going to connect to his NIN to be able to track. And of course, then we'll be able to share data with security, we'll be able to share data, but we are building that, I'm sure, first quarter next year.
All right, thank you. First quarter next year. Thank you so much, Dr. Abubakar Isah, for being here, the NEDI National Coordinator for Ministry of Education and National Education Technology Strategy Task Force member. We appreciate your time.